Hello and welcome to the Rhobin podcast. This is the second episode. My name is Roja. I live in Toronto with my husband Sam, and this is a channel where you could watch any kind of fiber arts, I want to say. This would be crochet, sewing, sewing, I don't know how to say that right, knitting, and probably embroidery sometime soon. So this is, if those are things you enjoy, then I hope you grab your knitting, grab something warm to drink or have, and get settled down, and I could give you company while you knit. That being said, for this episode we do have a lot to talk. I have about 4 finished objects, 4 works in progress, and 4 knitting plans. I also have some acquisitions that I want to share. I do want to ask your advice on a few things, and so you can feel free to comment and let me know what I can do about a few questions I'm having regarding my acquisitions. And that being said, we'll get started. The first finished object I have is the Madeline jacket. If you remember, I was making this for my sister last time. I do not have the finished object. It's already finished, completed, shipped. This was by a designer called Sumin Kim, and the yarn I used was Surella Oopsie DK. It was a cashmere yarn, really buttery soft, and I hope my sister really enjoys it. As I said, it was a Oopsie sale, and so I couldn't really pick the colors. There were 2 colors that came though, and later, after going through Surella's Instagram page, I figured that the first color is the dark green, is probably the wine bottle color, and the second one is Jazz in the Park from the Autumn in New York collection. The knitting part of the pattern was really good. It was quick. I used 4.5 millimeter needles, and it was mostly, so the wrong side is supposed to be worn out, so it's a lot of pearls. It had slip stitches, it had a few patterns on it, so all of that was really fun. Though the only word of caution would be it has a lot of short rows. It actually has 5 sets of short rows, so if you have the patience to do it, then please go ahead and pick this pattern. One big modification I did with this pattern was figuring the size. Instead of picking size 1, I went to size 1.5. so I had to do some math, I had to do some modifications, and so I did the size between 1 and 2, 1.5, and it seemed to work really well for her. I did the buttons, and everything went well. It was the first time I've ever done buttons on a garment, so it went well, and she's very happy with it, so that was a win for me. It's a win in the books. The next one that I completed is my Tolsta tee. I'm hoping to be wearing this next time. I'll explain why. So this is my Tolsta tee. Sorry, I should have pressed I should have pressed it a little before doing the video. So this is done holding 2 yarns together. I did the size 4. It's done using Knit Picks Hawthorn. It is Highland wool, and the other one is Knitting for Olive Merino, and I held them both together. The fabric is lovely. I love how it blocked out, but the problem is I made it to cropped because my intention for this was to wear it over a dress. I do have pictures of me wearing it, but I've worn it over a pant, and I do find it very cropped. So I am going to go back, undo the ribbing, and extend the body a little more. For now it is finished, but I do plan to redo the bottom of this a little because I want to have something that's more wearable. And when I saw this with the dresses, I decided that it looked a lot better on jeans. It looked a lot better on pants than it did on dresses, so I am going to change my plans for this. I am going to go and redo this. Yeah, but other than that, this is a pattern I would insist everybody tries. It's a very simple pattern, a very beginner friendly pattern. It starts with ribbing, it has raglan increases, you put the sleeves on hold, do the body, come back to the sleeves, and then it's also done on 5mm needles. DK, it uses DK weight, but 5mm needles, so the fabric you get is really good, and you'll enjoy the process. So please do the toe style if you can. It's not my design, but I feel like I'm selling it. The next one that I finished is the classic ribbed hat. I'll show it to you. So this is the classic ribbed. Oh, I do have to weave in my ends. I also want to put a unicorn on this. So this is the sister pattern for something I shared in my last episode. I do have the finished hat here. So this was the first finished hat, and this is the second one. They are to be given to siblings. So if you look at this, this was made in the size kid. Yeah, this was the kid size, and this is the adult small. So if you look at it, it's a lot more longer. I do have to fold it and put in the unicorn, and I'll be done. So I was actually making it for the older kid, but I do not want the younger one to feel left out, so they both will be getting their gifts at the same time. And that is the classic ribbed hat. What I liked about this pattern is it comes along really quickly. It's a simple ribbed, it's just 1x1 ribbing, so you can mindlessly do it, but after a while it does get a little boring. I used 3.25mm needles. It's DK yarn. I've held two fingering weight yarn together to get the right gauge, but it did get very, very tiring towards the end, and I was happy it was done when it was done. I did one modification that I kind of regret. So if you look at the first, this is the first hat. If you look at the decreases, you would see this. I kind of did not like the decreases, and I decided that I would do a different kind of decrease on this. So I went ahead, I looked at the 2 of Wands pattern for the striped beret, and I took the decreases from there and put it here. So this is how these decreases look. I felt it was a lot more neater. So you look at the decreases, it's a lot more neater, but the only problem with this I felt was it's made for a beret. The decreases are planned for a beret, so it has a more rounded top instead of a curved top. It's more rounded. It's flat on the top, and it's something I will not repeat again if I follow this pattern. I'm going to follow the pattern to the T, and this is not a modification that I would suggest you make either. So this is, while it fits well, but I did not like how the shaping went, so I will definitely not be repeating this on the classic rib pattern again. But otherwise it's a free pattern, and I would suggest you try it. It's again a very, very nice pattern for anyone who's intimidated for making beginner hats. This is a good one to go. I also started and finished the penny gloves. I have the picture, but I do not have the finished product with me. It's gifted, it's done. I finally ended up, I don't know if I do not have the correct yarn with me, but I ended up holding the suri, alpaca suri from Surala, along with Knit Picks Luminescence lace. It's 100% mulberry silk yarn, and they both went really well together. The drape, the fabric, everything was really, really good, and this was done using 3mm needles. I have decided that for the next year, that is, the penny gloves is gonna be a repeated Christmas gift. I'm gonna start from Jan. I'm gonna try making a pair every month so that I have 12 pairs, and I can give that away for Christmas. I find it also very useful even if you're indoors and you really want to just keep your hands warm, because it does get really cold over here, and our apartment, we cannot adjust the heat inside. We do not have a system where we can adjust the heat. It's adjusted for the entire apartment, so it does get cold sometimes, or everyone's preferred temperature is very different. So I would prefer having this on my hands and not have it get cold and stiff all the time. So I find this to be a very good gift knit. It uses less yarn. It's done at a it finishes really quickly, and surprisingly, I did not even have the second glove syndrome with this. Once I finished the first mitten, I was ready to go with the second, and it was really simple. It's fingerless, and all I would say is, because it just gives the measurement, make a note of the rows of how much, like probably this many rows before I started doing the increases, and then after I separated for the thumb gusset, the thumb hole, this many rows were done for the forefinger. So if I had written that, it would have been more easier to do the second one. That's something I learned, to keep notes, because when I did the second one, I had to go back to the first, count the stitches, and then redo it. And because it's a pair, I would want it to look identical. Also because it's a gift knit, I would prefer it to be identical. So that was the only change, only lesson I feel I should learn for next time, and I'm going to try and do that. Probably I write it down the next time I do it and use it as a template for any other penny glove that I do in the future. So those were my 4 finished objects. Moving on to the works in progress. This is going to get a little interesting to show. So the first one is the Wrap Me Up Sweater Scarf. This is by I'm sorry, I think it's Knit Attitude, yes. So it's a Wrap Me Up Sweater Scarf by Knit Attitude, and I'll show you what it looks like right now. So I finished the sleeve part. This took very long. So this is about 108 rows of just the red part, and this were a few more rows that went in the round, and then it opened up. So this was all done in the round, and then it opened up to being knit in the flat. And I like the yarn. It's just it is mindless knitting for sure, but it is getting a little tiring because this is supposed to be really long. I think it's supposed to go up to 83 inches before I start decreasing again to do the sleeve on the other side. And I know the sleeve took about 2-3 days for me to finish. Yeah, so I'm gonna pour in my energy on this one for the next week, because the mother, I'm making this for a friend who is expecting. This is gonna be her fancy sweater, but also her nursing scarf, and so her baby shower is coming up next week, and I want to be done with this before that. So I'm gonna give more attention towards finishing this. What I've also been noticing is, I don't know if you can see, my stitches are a little uneven, which I hadn't noticed before, but they are a little uneven, and I want to see how I can sort this. I also feel it is DK weight yarn, but it is on 6mm needles, and so at a loose gauge it feels like faults are more visible. I'm hoping it blocks out. It's my only hope right now. I'm hoping it blocks out. I do want this to be a good knit because I really like this person I'm giving it to. So I do hope it comes out fine, and then she can enjoy it, and even if she's not using it for the purpose it's made for, I hope she gets to use it for maybe an evening out or something like that. The yarn I'm using is hand-dyed yarn. This was kind of a fade. So this is the color Merlot. This is Nighthawk. And the last one is Doe Skin. So this was supposed to be a fade. And yes, I'm hoping that it's also a little more on the neutral side so she can use it, even if it's not meant, if she does not use it for the purpose that I'm making it for, she can use it any other time. And so yes, that's my hope for that. So that is the Wrap Me Up sweater scarf. The next work in progress is the Hepatica sweater. Now this sweater has surprised me because when I first looked at the sweater, I thought, oh, probably this could be brioche, which is why I wanted to test knit it. But I also knew that till now I've only made raglan sweaters, so I wanted to do something of a different construction. And when I started this, I realized that this sweater is garter. Now I know I'm a beginner knitter, but the only time I've ever done garter is my mom's shawl, and that was something I designed and made by myself, which is why I picked a garter stitch, so that it's really easy. I don't have to think too much, and I just stitched as much as whatever yarn was there. I stitched that, I knitted that much, and then when the yarn got over, I moved on to the next yarn. So it wasn't very complicated, but this one was wonderful. And I like it specifically because of the shape. I like how the color changes are. This has been a lot of fun. So I did finish the collar, but I'll show you from where I started. So I did the back panel first. So this was the back panel, and there's beautiful, I like anything that has math involved in it in some form. So this one, the number of stripes matters. So you do a few number of stripes. So you start with increases, then you stop increasing at a particular point, and then you knit flat, and then you finish a few number of stripes, and then you start the left shoulder. You start the right shoulder, you do the left shoulder, and then join them together, and you cast on some stitches, join them together, just knit some more, and then cast there were no stitches cast on for the underarms, but you join them in the round. Now once I joined them in the round, I was stitching and I was knitting. I was knitting. I reached a point where I ran out of my main color. So I put all the stitches on hold and I moved on to doing the sleeves. The sleeves again were so much more fascinating. Now the sleeves have short rows that start from the beginning, and these short rows were a pleasure to knit with because short rows usually go back and forth, so you have knitting and then some purling. And I've always found short rows a little complicated because when you do raglan sweaters, you usually do the collar, and then you move into the raglan, and just before you start the increases, or even while doing the raglan increases, you start the short row shaping for the back. And because the collar has fewer stitches and it's more tighter, I usually do it on a magic loop. And so when you go back and forth, you knit on the right side, you purl on the wrong side, and sometimes with the magic loop half the stitches are on the other side, and it's difficult to keep track of the math that you're using when you are doing the short rows. With this, it was a pleasure because it went back and forth. It's garter, so you only knit on both sides. That was good. And the next thing was the short row increases was 5 stitches, so it was really easy to do the math. So you go 5, you go back 10, come back 10, go back 15, come back 15. So it was really nice. And once this sweater comes out, I'm sure I'm gonna be hollering and telling everyone to try this. I also find this to be a very good stash busting sweater. So if you look at it, the original pattern I think has only 3 stripes, but I used about 17 different colors. In fact, all of the colors that I wanted to use have not been done yet. So this is what my sweater looks like. This also betrays my color palette. If you see, it's more warm, and based on color analysis that I did for myself, I am a cool winter tone person, but my choices till now have been very warm autumny colors. So you could see this is proof. And I don't know if I'm gonna change just because color analysis told me that this is the kind of colors that suit me. Yes, they would suit me, but then the kind of colors that I enjoy wearing and get complimented on is usually warm autumnal colors. Also could be because I've never tried the cool wintry colors yet. So keeping that in mind, I do want to keep my mind open and see if I can try those colors. In fact, the color I'm wearing right now I think would fit in the cool winter. I have no clue. But yes, so this is basically my color palette. So I'll show you what leftover yarn I'm working with. I have rolled them all. I have held them double and rolled them into tiny balls. So that is my color palette. This is my main color. The main color is Knit Picks Twill fingering weight, not the Aran weight. I think they have discontinued this yarn because I did not see it in sale this year, and I also see only 2 colors left on their website, and they have not updated it or added the new colors. So I think they're going to discontinue this. This one is Surella. There was a countdown mini set for Halloween last year, and I purchased it. I was not happy, but I think I also am not happy with surprises in general, so I cannot blame Surella. But when I put it together in this sweater, I really liked it. What I also did was, if I had leftover yarn from other projects, I brought it together, all my fingering weight yarn, and then held it double, wound it together, and then put it into the sweater. So that was a good decision. So I'm thinking, if you have any project where you would like to stash bust, this is a good sweater to make. This is a good project to pick, and you can use up all your stash. You would need one main color, and the rest you could just stripe, and you could do a gradient, you could do color bundles, whatever you want. This is going to be a good stash busting sweater, so please look at it. I'll definitely talk more about it once the pattern is released. It's supposed to be released by the end of January, but we are finishing a test then, but I'll keep you updated. What I also wanted to tell was the ribbing for the sweater is done with 4mm needles, and the entire sweater is done with 5mm needles. And it being garter, you could imagine how squishy it is. The fabric is really squishy. I can't wait to wear it. I was hoping I would get it done by this week so I can wear it into New Year's, like a lounge wear. It's gonna be my comfort wear for sure, because the color, the feel of the fabric is all really nice. It's all superwash merino, which means it's gonna be a little less heartbreaking for me to throw it into wash. I don't have to worry too much about keeping it fresh. So I know it's gonna be loungewear for me for sure. I'm gonna wear it around the house. So that is the Hepatica sweater. Again, I would say it's beginner friendly. Most of the patterns I pick have been beginner friendly so far, so I would say this is beginner friendly, and this is something you'll want to try. The next one is a sweater which is a little comical. I'll show it to you first. So this is, I have not followed a design. This is I don't know what to call it, because I don't think I'm gonna write up a pattern or sell it or anything like that. It's just not in me. This is a sweater that's again made for a friend, but I again wanted this to be loungewear. I wanted this to be a comfort wear. So he is turning 30 this year, and I made this sweater as a kind of a joke that, you know what, this is time you stay at home, you feel like you don't want to leave out, you want to wear really oversized clothing, sit on your couch and sip hot chocolate, or I don't know. So that was the plan behind this sweater. So I have just done the I have done single stitch, a chain and single stitch, and the next row I've single stitched on the single stitch and done the chain on the chain. I don't know if you can see it. They would look like tiny boxes. So that is what this is meant to be, and I have striped it with gray. The yarn I used was Knit Picks Brava. This is, I guess, the black color. This is called Dove Heather, and I need to put the sleeves on this. And once I put the sleeves on this, I'm gonna finish it with a little collar, and this is gonna be the coziest sweater he's gonna have in his wardrobe. And again, I made it, Knit Picks Brava is 100% acrylic yarn. I mentioned this before, but when it's gift knits, I would prefer it being done in either acrylic yarn or superwash merino, so it's comfortable for the user and they don't have to worry too much about taking care. And like I mentioned, this is meant to be a loungewear, so again, I don't want him to worry too much about washing, drying, laying it flat to dry. In our temperature and weather, I know laying it flat to dry is gonna take 3 weeks if you hand wash it and dry, so acrylic it is. And I do hope he enjoys it, and yeah, I don't want him to feel bad about turning 30. I wanted it to be kind of a celebration, but I think I need to write a card to justify it after giving an oversized sweater. The next work in progress, again, this is so close to the finish line, is a baby knit. The pattern is called the Filsa sweater. It is by this designer called Courtney Walters. She actually has, yes, she does. She actually has a video on YouTube, a video tutorial, and you could actually look at the whole tutorial. This is a lovely sweater. So if you look at it, you know what? This was my second knit. So the first one was a tank top. This was my second. And I don't know why, I thought I was amazing enough to attempt color work, and so you can see these over here. The color work, as you can see, did not turn out as it was expected. I am going to embroider over this, and this could be a very small, this is a very small shirt. I don't think it's gonna fit the baby. Maybe the baby can wear it the first 2 weeks of his life, but not more than that. But I am going to embroider his name on this. I'm gonna just generally embroider his name on this so he can wear it for the first week or two, and then this could probably become a Christmas ornament or go on his stuffy. But it'll have his name on it, so that's the idea. I do have to weave in all the ends. I need to put a button to close this, so I'm gonna do that. And since it's gonna have his name on it, I do not think I will have the finished pictures, or I'll be able to show the finished project, but yeah, this is what it's gonna be like. It's probably going to go on his stuffy, and I hope he grows to enjoy it. So that was my work in progress. Those were all my works in progress. I do have some knitting plans coming up. The first one, again, is for this baby who's gonna be born sometime by the end of January or the first week of February. And I want to do the baby Aosta sweater. It's by the Knit Pearl Girl. I know it went famous. It went viral. It was famous. Every time I've looked at baby knits, this like when people make videos that these are 10 baby knits you should probably try, I've always seen them talk about the baby Aosta sweater. I should have also remembered how they said it. And I do want to try it. This is something I really want to try. And I am gonna use this yarn by, it's the same hand dyer as the Wrap Me Up Sweater Scarf. A chick that, I'm sorry, I got cut off from the camera. Well, so I'm gonna use the yarn from the same dyer. Her name is Tammy, and her company is called The Chick That Knits. And she does this wonderful job of dyeing on merino yarns. It's superwash merino again. I want to use this colorway called Rhobin egg. Now I do have the yarn, but I could not find it because I've kept it super safe somewhere and I have to go look for it. But I have a picture and I'm gonna put it up over here. So I want to do the baby Aosta for the baby Aosta sweater for him using this yarn. This sweater is knit using 4mm needles, and I'm going to do the 1 to 3 month size because I want him to wear it between February and March. That's gonna be cold, and then I'll probably make him another for 1 year size later. By next winter he's gonna be a year old, and he could probably do wear a sweater again, but otherwise it's gonna be warm and I don't see a point in knitting a sweater for the warmer months. So I'm gonna do the 1 to 3 month and probably the 12-month sweater, but I'll wait to do it a little later. So that's my first one. The next one is the Audrey cardigan. This is by Pernilla from the Knitting for Olive. She is the mom, the founder of Knitting for Olive. It's a mom and daughter company, and she's the mom. She does the designs, and the designs are so pretty. I was going over what to pick for a kid who asked me to make something for her, and this is her favorite color. This is Cascade 220 Superwash Merino, and this is the color. I don't know what the colorway is. It's called Red Heather. It's called Red Heather, and it is it's between weights 4 and 5, so it says light or medium, so it's probably between DK and worsted. And I'm gonna make her this Audrey cardigan. The needle size again is 3.5 and 4.5. I do need to get this done before January 17th for sure, so this is gonna be a priority. This and the loungewear is gonna be the black sweater over here is gonna be a priority. So I want to get this done quickly. I'm gonna do the size for an 8-year-old, so she can wear it for a little longer. She is younger, but I want her to enjoy it for a little longer, which is why I also chose the cardigan pattern instead of a sweater, so she can just drape it on, and if it grows in size then good. But I'm going to see. I don't think this quantity is going to be enough, so I'm going to add probably this Dove Heather color. I'm gonna add a little of that into this. I'll make that. So I'm gonna add a little of that with this for either the collars or the tie. The Audrey cardigan has a tie on top, so for either that or just the ribbing or anything, or the I-cord. I'm assuming it does not have ribbing, it has I-cords. The I-cords I'll probably use a different color just to make sure I have enough yarn. The next one is gonna be a Jason's cashmere hat. This is for my husband. So Sam has been asking for, he didn't ask for a hat, but I want to make him something, and he finally agreed that I could make a hat for him. I am going to use the Knit Picks Brava, the black color, because he wanted a black hat, and I do not have any other black yarn in stash, and I hate knitting black yarn. I know it's not a great announcement. I know most knitters dislike using black yarn, and so I'm still gonna do this. I like this because it's rather round and plump, and I can see the stitches way better than probably using a heathered or a more natural fiber yarn. So I'm gonna stick to this. I also know he's gonna be using it for his walks, runs, or any physical activity outdoors, so I'm gonna pick an acrylic one, so he can wash it every week. We could just throw it in the washer and dryer and it's gonna be okay. So I'm gonna pick the acrylic yarn for him, and that's gonna be the Jason's cashmere hat. I know this is the fourth hat I'm gonna make, and the cables could probably be lost in black yarn, but I know the play of light on the hat is going to feel good. The cables are hopefully gonna pop, and I hope he likes it. I know he'll like it. But yes, I hope to have it done by the next time I do the podcast. If it's not done by then, I don't think it's good to finish it now, because winter's gonna be over and he's not gonna really enjoy wearing it this year. So I want to get it done as soon as I can. The last one is something I want to do for myself. This is the Un sweater. I'll put a picture of what it looks like. I like how it is such an oversized sweater. I like the high slits, but I'm probably gonna split for the splits a little later, a little lower than what it originally suggests. But this is a sweater I've been looking forward to making for a long time, and I finally feel after I finish all of these gift knits, I do a lot of gift knits, so that is one of the reasons I'm starting the sweater now, so that I have enough time to finish it. I want the sweater done by Easter, and I'll tell you why. Well, this is the yarn I want to use for this. I hope you can see the yarn. This is Pearl Soho's Hedge Grow. I think it's got 93% merino, 3.5% silk, and 3.5% cashmere. Woo! I got that right. So yes, so this is the yarn. This is it in this can. I like how it's got the red and it's got orange and blue speckles, and so it's not a boring yarn, and I'm really looking forward to make the sweater using that yarn. So that is Pearl Soho's Hedge Grow. It's in the colorway Golden Meadow. It uses 5mm needles, so I know it's gonna be faster. And I know in between all the gift knits, and especially it being winter and me doing a lot of black colored yarns, I know that a pop of color is gonna do me a little good. And when I did the color analysis a little early this week just for fun, and it said yellow is one of the colors I should avoid. I'm still gonna do it because I've been wanting to do this for such a long time. This yarn has been my special yarn. I've been saving it up, and I do want to wear it around Easter. And I think the months of March, April, and probably May, I could still reuse the sweater several times because the weather would be just perfect to wear a sweater. And if I wear this sweater, probably I could skip the jacket, and that's the plan. So I hope to start it sometime next week. Progress on it is going to be slow, but I'll keep you updated. And with that, I have come to the end of all the knitting stuff. I do have a few acquisitions, but if you do not want to wait for this part, don't worry. I'm just glad you stayed so long to enjoy the podcast and my company, but I wish you the best for whatever knitting you are doing right now. For the others who would like to stay for the acquisitions, I would generally not have acquisitions. What I normally do is I buy yarn in between the US Thanksgiving and the Canadian Boxing Day. So between that time, I usually buy yarn for the whole year. I plan what I want to make for the next year, and then I buy yarn, and I usually do not buy yarn after. So yarn wise, I do not have too much of an acquisition, except one that is on the way. I will show you once it arrives. But then this this has been my latest acquisition. So this is Camaros Minstrel. It is, I think I mentioned earlier that more hair in general annoys me a lot. So I decided to try this because it's got alpaca. It's got 68% alpaca, 12% and 16% polyamide, 4% polyester, and 12% merinold. I wonder what that is. I'll probably have to look it up. I first thought it was in a different language, but it just says 12. I did the math and it fit together. So this is Camaros. It does have glitter in it. I know it's a little too late for the festive season, but I'm gonna make it for the next festive season. So this is, I am gonna find a yarn to pair it with. My original plan was to pair it with Drops Alpaca. Oh, come on, focus. Yes, Drops Alpaca, but I don't see the colors going well. And I really like the Drops Alpaca color, and so I do not want to ruin this color with this. I do want to make a swatch and see what it looks like, but I like the Drops Alpaca color as it is. It's close to this. It's more teal, and I really like the color, so I do not want to mess with it. My other two acquisitions are knitting bag, project bags is what you could call it. They're not meant to be project bags, but I'm going to be using it as project bags. The first one is this. They're from India. Yeah, so the first one is this. This was sent by my sister a couple of weeks back. I'm trying to look for the brand. I'll probably put it up on this on the screen. I do not see the brand. What I like about this is it's got this, so I can probably carry it around and like knit wherever. And I don't style my sweaters, and I'm styling this. But yes, so I can carry it around and with me. I like the tassels, but it's okay. I like that it's got this drawstring, and then I could just tie it up, and it can hold a sweater's quantity of yarn, and I really appreciate that. So what I would probably do is, once I have plans of what I want to, once I have plans of a whole sweater, I'm going to put all the yarn for the sweater into this and the needle, and then I'll put a small tag over here that tells this is the sweater, this is the yarn, and this is the needle. Sometimes the sweater is put on ice, and I might take a few months to finish it, and if I need the same needle again, I would be panicking because I can't find it. But so I usually do these tags so I can find it easily, and I know it's there, it's not lost. Needles are not less expensive. Needles are not cheap. They are pretty expensive, and so I like keeping a track on all of them. The next one is this. This is a similar one, but what I like is it has a nice flat bottom. It has these so it can stay on the ground while I knit, and this has a drawstring. This is harder. It has a drawstring to it as well, so I can close it. It also has a zipper pouch inside. I don't know. Yes, a zipper pouch inside, and this is where my own sweater is gonna live. I took this out because it's colorful. With the winter being all dry and blue, I wanted something different to just light up the house, and we do not like colorful cushions, but I thought one colorful bag somewhere around the house is okay, and so this is what it's gonna be. So those are my acquisitions. Now, apart from that, I have been thinking, I wanted to be very, very mindful about what I'm gonna make next year. So like I said, you wouldn't be seeing too much in acquisitions because I've already planned everything out, and I'm going to be sticking to my plan, knitting from my stash. Most of my stash is calculated to, I won't say to the gram. I do have a fear of running out of yarn, so let's say it has about 30 grams extra than what the measurement is, or what the recommendation is in the pattern. I usually have about 30 grams extra. And so I have all of the yarn in place, and whatever I'm going to make is going to be made out of that stash. I planned 12 garments, but I'm gonna cut it down to maybe one each season for me, one sweater each season. I do not see a need to knit that many just for myself. I want to just make something that's more functional, something I would enjoy wearing, both color wise, style wise, trying new techniques, and that's all I want to do. So with that in mind, I wouldn't have too many acquisitions coming up, so this part of the podcast might not be repeated very often. I'll keep you updated though about whatever I'm making, what yarns I'm pulling out of stash, how I want to combine it, what yarns I want to mix and match, and I hope that would keep you interested. But thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for letting me give you company while you knitted, or while you played a puzzle, or just thank you for letting me give you company. So with that being said, I would let you go. Have a happy new year and happy knitting, everybody. Bye.